Hello and welcome back to another episode of Legal Mangal. So today we will be discussing about the student visas issues which is happening in Australia. A lot of students being deported and lots of things happening with the student visa. So that's why we have invited the marketing head of Pacific College, which is a very renowned institute of Australia, and it's been in the market for more than 22 years. So a very warm welcome for Mr. Sagar. He's a marketing head. And Mr. Sagar, thank you so much for taking out time today. We will be discussing about a little bit of your journey, and then probably we'll discuss about student visas regarding like how students are coping with the immigration changes and lots of things which government is targeting and those things. So let's start with your journey because you came as a student. I know it's not easy for a student to start in Australia and then because you have done very well in the industry and now you are a marketing head since last 6 years with Pacific College. So just give us a brief introduction about yourself. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Manmohan. Very first thing, it's a wonderful show. It's amazing to be here. Legal Mangal, amazing concept, amazing podcast. My name is Sagar. I look after marketing. I'm a marketing executive at Pacific College. Talking about my journey, for the first time, I came in this country back in 2017 to do my MBA. Right after finishing my MBA, I started working as a marketing executive for Pacific College, and it's been 6 years I'm associated with this education industry, and I find a joy in seeing people transforming their life with new skill set, and we see a lot of students. They come from around the globe. They come with nothing. And at the end of the day, they graduate with a skill in their hand. And they graduate with a lot of confidence. We have seen our graduates being employed with, big corporations. We have seen our graduates doing their own business. So it's a wonderful, amazing feeling to see them growing like that. So that is something inspiring me every day. And I'm feeling very like myself. I'm very proud to be in this industry as a marketing executive.
I know your journey, you are from Nepal and your journey started many years ago, but still when I look at you, that you are very much connected with your roots, your traditions and stuff. You recently got married. Congratulations for that.
Thank you.
And I've seen your videos and photos. So basically you are very well connected. So how you manage that? So what's your inspiration? What's your motivation?
Very good question, Manmohan. So wherever we go in this world is very dynamic. We are living in this globalization. We should be able to adapt to the new environment. But at the same time, connecting to your root is very important. Because whatever we do throughout the day, at the end of the day, when we go to sleep, sometimes we dream about our background. Sometimes we have a dream about our past life, like where we came from, our home country. So we can't deny the fact that wherever we fly in this world, we can't forget the root. Because we have our understanding, perception about the life, so many things coming from our root, our culture, as you said. So it's very much important to remain connected with our root while we try to excel in our life, while we try to compete in this global world. It's very much important to be along with our root and culture.
I saw your photographs and videos on Facebook. I'm very happy that you are still connected with your culture and you have done very well in the industry as well. So, Sagar, just coming back to the problems what students are facing at the moment is many students being deported. I've seen even many people knows now since last couple of months, students being targeted at the airport and they've been questioned and then been deported. So, what is your view? What exactly why it's happening? Why the government is taking such actions?
So looking into the recent changes coming in this education industry and in recent legislation that are being formed by the government, they are their focus point is on genuine student, very first thing. So international students, it's a wonderful country. They can come here, study, grow, develop the skill. If they want to settle here, there are certain pathways. If not, they can go back with a lot of skills and experience from Australia, and they can excel and compete anywhere around the world. So that is a wonderful opportunity Australia is offering to international students. And we have seen some of the students are not genuine, not falling in that bracket where we say they need to maintain all the visa conditions, they need to have a genuine intention to study and leave this country. So there is a bit of problem. There was a bit of problem, and then government tried to impose few things. I think deportation is one of the results of those scrutinizing things. So some of the students, they are not being mindful about their visa conditions. So maintaining your course progress, your work rights, how many hours you can work each week, and maintaining health insurance, and at the same time providing your updated details to the providers within 7 days of change. These are the conditions on your visa. So as an international student, if you are not maintaining these visas, working more than expected hours, more than 24 hours, not maintaining other conditions, it will lead to cancellation of visa and deportation from Australia. And I think we have heard a similar story recently from Adelaide Airport, or Brisbane Airport, I forgot. Brisbane Airport. One student was deported, considering the fact that a student worked more than 24 hours a week. So it is very much important for international students. A key message from this incident is be mindful of your visa conditions and remain on that conditions so that, duration.
So now, like, government is targeting students. We understand that students are migrants, and they have to follow the rules more than the local community, but rules are same for everyone. Why not government target those businesses who employ them for more than the required number of hours? Like, for example, if a student needs to work for 48 hours a fortnight, that means 24 hours a week, however we calculate it. But if a business is employing a student or a person with the limited working hours, why not government stop them instead of just targeting the students?
Right, it's a very, very critical point, because as we have seen, different ups and downs throughout this period. Since I'm involved in this education industry, I have seen a lot of ups and downs, especially during COVID. We still remember Australian government said, international students, you can work as many hours as you can. We have seen that. That was the incident. It lasted for nearly 2 years. So at that time, a lot of businesses were suffering from skill shortage, staff shortage, and they requested government, we need more people, and there was no any possibility to bring people from overseas, and government said, okay, international students, you guys can work more than the expected 24 hours, 20 hours a week. So we have seen that changes from government as well. So if we don't have consistency in terms of doing those things, there will be confusion in the market.
Correct.
So that's the reason some of the businesses, they are not aware, like what are the updated rules, regulations. Exactly. So businesses, they need to be aware. They also have their compliance. They can't, ask a student to work more than their legal rights. And also students, they need to be able to understand what are their declaration they made at the time of visa application. They said, I won't work more than expected hour. So they need to be relying on that, they need to maintain that statement and go ahead while they're studying in Australia.
Compliance is as important as it is for students. It is important for the businesses as well.
Yes.
And the only issue what everybody is facing is the confusion, because many students, they come to me as well. I'm sure like they might be coming to you as well, just to ask that when was those full work rights available during COVID time. They don't have that time frame now. Sometime a genuine student with a minor kind of a problem, which was a genuine problem, if that student get caught into that and they also get deported, so it's a very sad for.
Exactly, it's a very, very genuine concern, because we have seen some of the genuine students are being penalized. The real question here is we are trying to scrutinize this industry to bring genuine students. But in the name of scrutinizing, sometime we are generalizing the anticipated statement on genuine students. So and not letting students give enough evidence in these kind of scenarios will be impactful, and it will hurt Australian education industry if we try to impose those rules and regulations, and we are not giving room for genuine students to justify they are following all the terms and conditions, and that can create trouble. But the message here is, for international students, if they remain within the conditions, if they fulfill all the terms and conditions mentioned in the student visa, then there won't be any problem. That's what we can tell from our side. So.
And I can see that last year, the government introduced, every year they are introducing some or the other rules on student visas and other migration policies. Last year, they stopped visa hopping. They call it visa hopping, basically, so from going from one visa to another. And they mainly targeted the study sector, the education sector, and they stopped students from jumping from the visitor visa or from other visas to apply for a study visa. And mainly the 485 visa, which is a temporary graduate. And many people, they actually struggle because they've worked in the industry and now they want to upskill their education because they know like which area to go into. So what is your view? Like, is it a correct decision? Was that the correct decision?
Yeah, this is also sometimes troubling us. The problem here is if a student is a graduate and applied 485 visa, and after they finish with 485, if a person wants to upskill, if a person wants to go for the further education, higher level qualification, my understanding, my opinion is they should not stop that person. But here, in the name of stopping visa hopping, of course, government should do something to stop that visa hopping. But not letting 485 holders to study again is not Australian test. In Australia, we promote fair go. In Australia, we say all people are equally treated, and then we have a fair go promotion in Australia. But telling people, if you are a 485 visa holder, you can't study more. That brings a genuine question here. Are we trying to promote genuine student? Are we trying to stop non-genuine student? Or we are trying to, stop people from going into further education? That's a real question. So my opinion is 485 visa holders, once they are done with that, if they want to upskill, if they want to go for new qualification, I think government should reconsider the decision and should allow 485 visa holders to continue their study. Again, it makes sense to stop visitor visa holders to go into student visa. That can help the problem that arises misusing the student visa scheme. That we are with the decision on that, but not letting 485 visa holders study again, somehow it doesn't make sense.
So just coming back to the RTOs, because you are into that industry since long and you know that how the RTO things works. Now, when I was going through the CRICOS, which is a publicly available website where all the colleges and universities are listed, so I can see there like 80% of RTOs or colleges, they have a very limited number of seats allocated to them. Like it could be like 200 or maybe less than that. So those colleges or the colleges with a kind of a renowned history and a big maybe into this industry, like your college, like it's been there from last 22 years. So and you have a very good number of quota available for your students. So how you distinguish that? Why students should trust those colleges with a smaller kind of a campus, or maybe just one room kind of a campus?
International students, while they decide which provider to go with, the very first thing they need to look into it is infrastructure, resources to support their capacity, and they also look into the track record of the campus. So there are a lot of colleges, as you said, opening day by day. Every day new colleges are coming. And sometimes colleges are not well equipped with the resources and manpower and infrastructure required to equip students with the skill set. So my recommendation for international student is, while you select college, be mindful about infrastructure, resources of that campus, and you can try to talk to the graduates of that campus, how well they went throughout their study, how supportive the team members are. their student service review, their teaching staff, their like management team. So you need to be very mindful about selecting the provider. So if you decide to go to one college, that college must have enough resources, infrastructure, manpower, support staff to be able to help you to go through your study.
And being an RTO, what kind of due diligence you do, like in order to choose a student, like whether he's a genuine or not?
It's a very good question. It is very much helpful to international students. If you are willing to come to Australia, you are an international student, you are trying to apply from overseas, the very first thing as an education provider we look into is your previous academic performance. How well you did in your last study. And if you are currently about to finish your study, please be aware about your academic performance and do well in your academic journey. Second thing we look is English eligibility. So international students' English proficiency tests are being judged based on IELTS, PT, TOEFL, those certified test score. And third thing we look is financial eligibility. So if you're a sponsor to be able to support you throughout your study financially, then you are having green flag on financial eligibility. And also we look into the students who are coming up with work experience. If a student has worked before, we also look into their resume, CV, and we check if that work is genuine or not. So to sum up in one go, students' academic performance, previous completion transcript, score sheet we check. Second, we check their English language eligibility, IELTS, TOEFL, PT score sheet. Third, we look into their financial viability, financial eligibility, if their parents and sponsor can support them well or not. And another one we check is their prior experience. So combining all these factors, we decide whether we can give admission to that particular student or not.
I've also seen that because every college and university, they have a level which government decide at the end, depending upon the visa success rate and so on. And there is no website or portal where we can see that which university or college is at what level. Of course, that level decides like what kind of documentation we have to provide. There could be like the level 1 university may not require the English requirement or maybe the financial requirement. So those level, how a student can check like which college is at what level.
Provider's level is not a straightforward thing. If we check the system in place, as you said, there is you can go to the Google and search document checklist tool, Australian Department of Home Affairs, and there is a hyperlink document checklist tool. You click on that, you put your country of passport, you put your education provider, and when you click on display evidence, you see what are the documents set required to apply the student visa. So that is the only way students can learn and see, to determine the level of the provider. But another very much important thing is if a student, they go to the authorized education agent, qualified their local agent, and check whether they are authorized from that particular institution or not, and talk to them. Talk to the expert, learn from them how to distinguish good provider, bad provider, genuine provider, non-genuine provider, the good level provider, bad level provider. So again, the game is not about assessment level. Game here is about taking right decision, informed decision, and choosing provider with considering multiple factors, as we discussed before: infrastructure of the campus, manpower, resources, how many graduates came across that campus, their review, employability, they are coming up with skill set or not, the resources they have, support staff they have, management team they have, teaching staff they have. So all these factors need to be taken into account while selecting a provider in Australia.
Like while students they are in overseas anywhere, so they have some kind of a struggle that they don't know anything about Australia. They don't know anything about the institutions here. So they just Google it, search it, like it's a normal tool for everyone. So if they are going to an agent, so that agent may not be registered with that institution, but they usually because lots of fraud happen overseas as well. So what is the way that student can identify that whether that agent is an authorized agent or not?
It's a very, very good question. Every day we deal with this problem. The thing is, international students, education sector is so huge. Lot of stakeholders are there. Lot of players are there. Some of the players, they are there with the sole purpose of manipulating students. Non-genuine players. They so-called like, oh, I'm authorized agent. But international students, please be mindful. Check the authenticity, whether they have the proper qualification or not, whether they have the proper authorization, the agreement with those providers or not. And there is a way to check. Visit the website of that particular provider, and they will be listing those agents working with them. So, and you can sometime directly call the providers and ask, I'm calling from this country, and I'm interested in this program, and I saw this agent promoting about you. Are they your authorized agent? You can ask providers about that as well. So, international students, if they have good research skill, if they are mindful about their decision, and then they try to take informed decision with multiple factors into considerations, then they can avoid those manipulative players in the market. So they can distinguish who is manipulating and who is trying to provide the genuine advice.
So what is, in your suggestion, are the popular courses which a student should consider while choosing Australia as their destination?
It's a very good question, and then there is no specific answer. One area is we can look into the in-demand courses. Australia sometimes talks about like, oh, we have skill shortage in health sector, and there is a high demand of registered nurse, let's say, or nursing and midwifery board says, oh, we need a lot of nurses. And sometimes we come across hearing, we need more early childhood educator. We need more social worker. So it depends on time, in which moment of time we are talking these things. So try to do research in demand courses. Second, look into yourself. Sometimes we end up choosing course which is in demand, but that course is not really made for that person, depending on the nature of personality, depending on their background, their experience, their plan in life. So while choosing the course, international student, they need to take into account who they are, what type of personality they have, and what are the in-demand courses, and what future looks like. So if they consider multiple factors, they will be in a better position to take the informed decision. And let's talk about the popular courses. At the moment, if we look, we have health and those nursing courses, community service courses, social work courses, early childhood education and educator courses. We have trade courses, for example, motor mechanic, automotive. We have hospitality, safes, cooks, different kind of construction related courses. So these are the top courses coming ahead at the moment, but the time can change this. So international students, it's better they recognize themselves and they try to figure out what are the in-demand courses, and they match these two factors and take the decision which course to go with.
So by the time like students study, like 2 years passes, there are lots of changes happens in the immigration industry, and that is the ever changing, like we have seen in the last 16-17 years. Like every year we see almost like 4 or 5 major changes happen. So choosing a course may not be right at this, like it may be right at this stage, but it could be different at when the student is graduated, basically. So it could be like if they're looking for a permanent residency option, so it could be a very different at the time of graduation.
Exactly. So I think the message we can give to international students in this regard is be well connected with your area of subject. So even if you are studying business or like, let's say, marketing, which doesn't sound like, oh, it's in demand, skill shortage, those sort of things. But if you are well connected, really very much passionate about that field, eventually student will land in a proper job. Eventually, Australia needs skill. We can't deny the fact that we are most of the time we are skill shortage here. So that means if you are really very passionate about the subject matter, do well in your subject matter, try to be connected with the industry, whatever subject you study, and at the end of the day, we need students like that. Australia needs a student like that who are well connected to the subject matter and that they are really very passionate about what they are doing.
So being a student, Sagar, because you started your journey as a student, so you know that those struggles like which a student usually face. So what would be the suggestion you want to give to the newer generation, like who is coming?
First thing we discussed about the recommendation to international students is adaptability, to be able to adapt to the new environment. Second thing we discussed about is skill set. They need to come up with the new skill required to be matching with the industry demand. And third thing we discussed was about the networking. So it's very much important. I heard more than 70% of jobs in Australia, they go unadvertised and they are being fulfilled with the networking and different channels and have good networking in life.
Very well said, Sagar. This is very important aspect which every student should follow. Thank you so much, Sagar. And just one last personal question. I'll just touch base your personal journey here. Because you are very much connected to your roots and you follow your traditions as well. What do you think, like whether after spending maybe 20 years here in Australia, do you feel that you should go back to your home country?
What a questions. I still remember the day I landed in this country. I came with the thought, I will go back one day. Like right after completing my study, I will go back to my country. But time is ever changing. Like it's a dynamic nature there. And then I changed myself with the time. And I got into the opportunity where I can excel even more in this environment. And this environment challenged me in initial days to be a little bit a different person. So I changed my plan in the same way. After 20 years, I'm not too sure what's going to happen. But what I can tell is, in this global world, I really want to create some impact in people's life. And while doing that work, I think my plan is to remain active globally and be rooted in my background, be rooted in my roots where I came from. So I want to have that balance in life, rooted and growing at the same time. So let's see what happens after 20 years. But as you said, grounding with your root is very much important. And I truly believe in that ideology in life.
So consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much.